Hi, my name is Rawan Zeine and I currently live in Amman, Jordan. I was the second born out of 4 children. Growing up, I always felt like I could never amount to anything, and I avoided responsibilities at all costs. My older sister Hella, at the age of 7, would be reciting poetry, singing songs, imitating actors, while at the age of 3, I could barely put a sentence together. When I was in elementary school, my mom would take me out for a walk to help me study and take my younger sister with me. And by the time we'd get home, she'd say, "Look, Rowan, Nadine memorized all the material, and you still didn't." By the time I was 10 years old, if someone asked me to get something from the car, I would totally dread it, fearing that if I wouldn't find it, they'd call me incompetent. And this was also reflected in my grades where in school when I was always felt like I was an average student. But in 10th grade, when we were living in Egypt, something unexpected happened. My gym teacher, Mr. Creans, asked me to be the track and field manager. And I thought that was particularly strange because PE was definitely not one of my strong points. In fact, it was where all my most embarrassing moments were. But I was too shy to say no, really. And so I stepped up anyway. And there I discovered my own sense of agency. And it turns out I was competent enough to take up responsibilities. So by the time I graduated high school, I was secretary of the Thespian Society, I traveled with the Fine Arts Festival, I created a short film with my friend and submitted it to a competition, and I graduated with honors. And then I decided to study marketing communications, hoping to learn how to get persuasive messages across to people. But I realized that wasn't enough. And when I moved to Jordan, I felt there was a disconnect in communication. And it seemed that everyone had their own circles and their own areas. There was no public space to interact. And marketing communications just was a very cold, impersonal way to get to know the community. So I started a project called Ta'lila. And it's a creative space where people can come and express themselves, have a voice, by sharing their ideas, interests, observations, and experiences. And I wanted to give people a space to have a voice, just like Mr. Creans was able to give me one. But at the same time, it wasn't enough. People kept saying that it was like an open mic night, but I wanted it to be more than that. So I took a class on community organizing, and there I discovered not only how to give people a sense of voice, but also a sense of agency. And since then, I've been called to become a learner in the craft of community organizing.